Okay, my fellow Signikians, I promised you a story, and it's not an interesting one, it's not a gory one, or it's not a fascinating one, but it's just a really strange encounter I just had with a Canadian bloke while I was coming home from the doctor. I was on my way to the doctor to pick up my meds, as I usually do on my scooter, and on the way back, the petrol ran out. So I had to wheel it half of the way home, which was slightly annoying. But anyway, as I did, I stopped over to grab a meat pie, as us Australians often do. And while I was outside the shop, this bloke approached me, French Canadian bloke. Seemed lovely, seemed great. He, talked to me about my scooter for a few seconds. Then, as I started to leave, he said, "Oh, man, actually, I've got a question for you." And he started giving me this spiel about how his landlord was kicking him out, and I could relate to that because I had just been kicked out by my landlord. And he said he was on his way to his mate's place, and he told me a bit about his life and how he's got a successful job, and he seemed like a really nice bloke. Then, we went down, I said, "Look," he goes, I need to do my iTunes. I need to charge my iPod. I said, all right, I can let you do that at my place. And, we're in the area. We were right near my house. And so he came in. On the way, I stopped over to buy some cigarettes. And he, out of the blue, asked me to buy him a Coke. Hey, I'm unemployed. He's successful. He didn't even offer me money. Okay, so I said, "Look, I got Cokes at home. I'll give you one, all right? Rather than waste the $12 that I had left." So anyway, we came back to my place, and this guy turned from a charming, laid-back, chilled out Canadian bloke to a very imposing figure. Not imposing in an intimidating kind of way, but imposing in the sense that he kind of came in and just took over my house. He went and took a Coke from the fridge without asking. In fact, he took two. He drank one, and then when that was done, he goes, "Oh, I need another Coke." He sat at my computer the whole time, downloading iTunes from LimeWire, barely speaking to me. Meanwhile, I'm running around doing things, filling my scooter back up with petrol. My mate from Canada called, who I haven't spoken to for months and months, which he even took the phone off and had a word with him. I don't blame him for that because he's Canadian and my Aussie mate, is in Canada at the moment. But then he started getting really weird, and he started saying, "Oh, so how many rooms are in this place, like as in bedrooms?" And I said, "Oh, just one." And now I got a little kitchen, a little bathroom, a little lounge thing, which is behind me. And then he started asking, "Can I move in with you?" He goes, "If all goes badly with my landlady, I'll pay you $400 a month. All I need is a mattress on the floor." And he's telling me how well he's done in his life. He was about a year younger than me, and he's got a successful job. He's obviously got a bit of money as he's traveling and he's returning to Canada just for a wedding and then coming back. I mean, as I've mentioned before, I'm far too trusting, and my first impression of this guy was not the right impression. He was not the nice, laid back guy that I thought he was. He was an imposing figure that just tried to take advantage of everything he could. He used my computer, which I didn't mind at all, but he complained the whole time about how slow it was and can I do this and that for him. Then he's going and taking Cokes out of the fridge. Then he's asking if he can move in. He's going, "Oh, look, I won't be here much of the day. I'm going to work. Well, then I'm out with my mates, And in fact, the way he approached me, he's like, "Where have I seen you before? Have I seen you up at the Oaks before?" And I said, "No, mate, I don't frequent the Oaks," which is a pub in kind of Cremorne, Neutral Bay. So, approached me with a bullshit story probably to start with. Now, look, he seemed like a lovely guy, but then I was so relieved when my mother called and said, okay, you know, I'm on my way. I'll be there at 1 o'clock, because, I mean, who knows how long this guy would have stuck around for. You know, I asked him if I could do an interview with him on camera, and he declined. And I think it may be because he is a bit dicey. So anyway, eventually my mother came round after this guy had bullshitted on, asked me, I mean, you know, I even said to him, I said, look, you know, if you do get kicked out, I guess you might be able to move in for a couple of weeks or something. I'm just too polite, I can't say no to people. And that's fucked. Like, I trust them too much. Anyway, the time came when my mother actually rang, and she was here. She was at the front door. But before that had happened, he said, well, let's get leaving. And we got halfway down the stairs, and he's like, oh, can I borrow $2? And I'm like, can you borrow $2? Yeah, okay, you can borrow two. You can have $2. You know, I've got $12, but you can have 2 of them. All right? You're the one with the job. I'm the fucking unemployed motherfucker. So, you know. And then, as I went upstairs to get the $2, he went outside onto the veranda to wait for me. And as he was there, my mum arrived. And he asked her for a lift up to his mate's place. Which, luckily enough, my mother is not, you know, that naive as myself, perhaps. And she said, look, no, we're just walking up the road to have lunch. We're not driving anywhere. So he kind of missed out on that one. But then I came back down. I gave him his $2. I knew he had money anyway, because I could hear it jingling in his pocket, and it wasn't his keys. Trust me, I know. So this guy, you know, he came here. He downloaded a shitload of music off iTunes. He took a couple of my cokes. He asked if he could move in. He gave me some bullshit story. Told me about all this crap, and then he asked for money, and I just found that very strange. And I thought I was a really good judge of character. Now this guy was a bit over the top. And he was a bit full on because, you know, like he was, I mean, he's really into music, obviously, but, you know, he was just a freak. But then, as he left, my mother and I went out for lunch. We just walked up the street, and as I've told you in my previous video, my mother is a cradle snatcher. She, told me that, she was thinking of taking a trip to South America this time. And I said, oh, to meet a young bloke, obviously. She said, oh, he's 33. I said, yeah. I said, and what about Nuruddin? This guy from, where was it? I don't know. I mentioned it in the Cradle Snatch video. Anyway, yeah, I said, have you spoken to him recently? And she said, no, not since he stole the gift that she had sent to his little sister. His little 13-year-old sister had a birthday. My mother sent her some earrings. You know, they're just fake gold earrings. Anyway, Nuruddin, this bloke that my mother has been having sexual relations with, who is probably now about 25 years old, he said he took the earrings and he went and sold them because he thought it was real gold. And then I said to my mother, Jill, this is what I told you from the start. This guy wasn't after you because he liked you. He was after you because he thought you were a rich Western woman and he lives in Morocco, and, you know, he thought he could get some cash out of you, and he tried to charm you. And then you know what she told me? She said that he used to be a fucking gigolo for men. He used to do things with men. Now I said, what? He used to have sex with men, and then you went and had sexual relations with him? He used to have sex with men for money? Foreign men? And, you know, I was astounded. I said, Jill, did you have sexual relations with him? And she kind of does this sly kind of girly grin and goes, well, we didn't. And I was in the middle of lunch, and that was the last of it for me. I put the rest in a doggy bag. But I said, I wish he hadn't have told me that while I was eating. But I said, God, I hope you've been tested, because, I mean, if he's got blokes fucking him for money over in Morocco just to make money, and he's hawking jewelry, I mean, he's obviously a scammer and tries to charm the shit out of people so that, you know, they trust him. Which she obviously did, because, as I said, she went back a second time. She hasn't spoken to him since, obviously, but she sent his little brother a little birthday present since. So, you know, that's just a little story about what happened to me today. Fancy that. Word to your mothers.